What an extremely long day it was yesterday in movie theaters for me and my brother, who we went to our local Regal cinemas and we saw two movies that are going to end up being on Disney Plus very soon in Zootopia 2 and Avatar Fire and Ash. Take this into account. We got there around noon and then we left the theater at about 7:45. So we spent over 7 hours in a movie theater with a short little halftime stop to Ford's Garage. First off, if you're new to the channel, make sure to share this video, like it if you enjoyed at any point while you're watching. My name is Randy. I am an actor and model out of the Midwest, and I have a passion for cinema and television, and I want to start reviewing everything that I watch and letting you guys know what I think about it, sharing my opinions. This is hopefully something that I'm going to start doing a lot more often. In the description down below, you can check me out on social media, and you can also check out my letterbox if you want to read any of my written reviews. Okay, let's do this. First off, Zootopia 2, the sequel to the hit box office score for Disney, where we see Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps team up for another incredible adventure. And this time, there's some new characters that they meet along the way that's going to help them clear their names as they are being framed for a potential murder, a close murder per se. They meet Gary DeSnake, who is played by Ki Hugh Kwan, and they meet Nibbles Maplestick, voiced by the ever so funny Fortune Feimster. These are wonderful additions to the cast, and honestly, I enjoyed both of them. I think I enjoyed Nibbles a little bit more. Fortune is absolutely hilarious in this film. She has some one-liners that had me cackling and looking over at my brother like, this is hilarious, I'm telling you. And the story is overall the same as the first one, where they get mixed up in kind of a black market kind of grand scheme to take over Zootopia. And they're being framed for it. So they have to go on this adventure to not only clear their names, but also find themselves. And this film focuses heavily on the two of them working on their differences and becoming the best partners that they can be for one another. And there's some very beautiful moments throughout where the two are really witnessing and figuring out how much the other person means to them, or the other animal, I should say, not person. You also have the inclusion of reptiles in this one, so we experience a whole new world. We get to take a trip to this marshland, which I absolutely enjoy. I have a pet turtle named David. I've had him for over 20 years, so reptiles hold a small place in my heart. Actually, I should probably go get him. There he is, little David. Look at him. He would be living in marshland in Zootopia. What's up, buddy? I pet you. Oh, good boy. Hey, don't you snap at me. Shakira returns as Gazelle, the most popular pop singer in Zootopia, and she has this new song, which you hear it about 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. And I'm not going to lie, after the second or third time, I think Disney forced it down my throat so much that I started tapping my foot. It's a very enjoyable song, and she always seems to knock it out of the park. This movie has its fair share of twists as well that will keep you invested throughout. It's nothing crazy. It's not an absolutely crazy movie. I know me and my brother were kind of checking our watches probably 3/4 of the way through, wondering when we were eventually going to get to the climax. And that is something about this film. It takes a while. There's a lot of journey to get to the ultimate climax of what needs to be done. And then when they figure out what needs to be done, it happens very quickly for the most part. This is a movie that the family's going to enjoy. It just crossed 1.5 billion at the box office, which means we are definitely getting another one. And we also are getting another one because there's an after credit scene that you're going to have to stick around for that kind of hints at where we're going next. I'll give you a small hint, doesn't spoil anything. Think of what type of animals we have not seen any of thus far. It's kind of looking like we're going to have the same type of story going into the third one of kind of racial discrimination and making sure everyone feels included. Overall, I gave this movie a 3 out of 5. Nothing crazy. Would I watch it again? Yeah, if I have the day off, I'll turn it on Disney Plus. But it's not a movie that I'm going to remember every single thing about it. Next up, we have the third installment in the Avatar franchise, directed by James Cameron, Fire and Ash. And look, I've heard a lot of people get onto this film about how it's just a rinse and repeat of the first two. And I agree with them. The story is almost the exact same. The story of family, the story of growth, the story of self-discovery, and a story of the human race not learning that they are not going to win on this planet. You still have the original cast. You have Sam Worthington back as Jake, Zoe Saldana as Neytiri. Yes, you have Stephen Lang as Quaritch, and Quaritch is once again doing the same thing he's done in the other movies, and that is looking for Jake Sully to bring him back and kill him in front of everyone as the traitor to the human race. This film focuses a lot more on two characters. Sigourney Weaver's character, Kiri, as she kind of dives into her connection to her mother and how she doesn't actually have a father and where she came from. And then it also dives more into Jack Champion's Spider, and we get to watch Spider develop and become a part of this family, and also battle with the fact that even though his father is kind of an evil man, that is still his father, his actual father at the end of the day. So there's some good emotional family moments throughout. James Cameron always kills it with direction. The world is beautiful. Pandora as a whole is just an absolutely beautiful place that I would love to visit, especially the water parts. I absolutely adore the water part of this world, the ocean, the water graphics, the sea graphics. I could go on all day about just the beautiful nature of the ocean in James Cameron films. And that's why I think Way of the Water is personally my favorite, because you look at movies that use the ocean so much, like Moana is the one that comes to the top of my head, and I absolutely love it. I just love the ocean. Hate the sand. So you know, I'm okay not going to the beach, but anything to do with the ocean and the wildlife in the ocean is something that I'm very passionate for. I think something that hurts these movies is this franchise is more about world building and less about a concrete story, because why these movies are so long, and they're so long, they're too damn long. I'll never do it again, and I'll never recommend it to anyone. Do not go see a doubleheader at your movie theater and have Avatar be your second movie, because at that point you've already sat through a 2-hour movie, an hour and a half, 2-hour movie in Zootopia, and then you have another 3.5-hour movie to sit through. I would always recommend starting with Avatar and seeing if you want to continue the day. But the thing with Avatar is halfway through, I looked at my brother and I said, I think we're only halfway through the movie. And I never do this. I'm like, I'm going to go get some concessions. So I missed probably about 10 minutes in the very middle. I don't think we missed anything for the overall story, but I needed to get up and move around. And that's why I wish movies that had like a 3.5-hour runtime had an intermission. Just give us like a 10-minute intermission, like a screenplay. You could even leave it, kind of use it as like a commercial break. Leave us on a cliffhanger, get everyone talking, let us go get some snacks, and then come back and finish it. Because it's long. And so back to my original point of it's more world building than a concrete story. What I mean by that is throughout one movie, you will have 4 different stories going on. I'm not going to spoil anything per se, but this movie started off all about Spider. Then we got to learn more about the Fire Clan and that history, and there was a storyline going there. And by the end of the movie, it was all about saving these whales. Forgive me, I don't know their actual name, but you know what I'm talking about, which we focused on in the second movie. We weren't even talking about the whales in the ocean for the first probably quarter of this movie, and by the end of the movie, that is what we're focusing on. That's what you get with these films. It's more about what's going on in the world as a whole and less about, you know, one story, good versus evil. There's just a lot happening when you watch these movies, and that's a good thing. Look, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I gave the second one a 4 out of 5, and I think I agree that this one is no better and no worse than the second one. It did feel like a cut, paste, copy. I think the first one's the best. I have the first one ranked at a 4.5 out of 5. So my overall rankings, you know, I rank it on Letterboxd based off like story arc, the overall story, character development, cinematography, the art style, all of that stuff, costume, wardrobe, you know, all of that. But if I'm just going based off how I like it, which ones are my personal favorites, how I would personally rank it, I would go Way of Water, Avatar 1, and I do think this one, Fire and Ash, was my least favorite. By the end of it, I was kind of ready for it to wrap up. And James Cameron says that this is the end of a trilogy. I can see what he means by that. You could end it with this film, but we know there are more coming out. So I'm interested to see where they go, because I can only watch these two men. I always forget his name, so I'm looking it up. I can only watch Quaritch and Jake go at it so many times before I'm ready to move on to something else. So overall, it was a fun day. Me and my brother went out and had at our local Regal cinemas. We are huge Regal supporters. Get out and watch these movies in theaters. If we're being realistic, Zootopia 2, you can wait until it comes out on Disney+, but obviously Avatar, with how beautiful the world is and the cinematography and the artistic style, you need to go see this on the big screen. If you liked my video today, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more coming out for you guys. I'm excited to actually start using my YouTube channel and having the time to do movie reviews and stuff. We've got a great video. I keep saying we, because I include you guys with me. I have a great video coming out for you guys later this week. It will be my top 10 movies of 2025 now that I wrapped up seeing Zootopia 2 and Avatar Fire and Ash. I feel like I've seen all the movies that I'm going to watch of 2025. The only other movie that I might watch before I record that is F1, and we'll see how it stacks up. But I'm very excited to make that video of my top 10 movies of the year.